Hi, Anthony. Okay, I'm ready. See ya.
Welcome, graduates, distinguished faculty, family, and friends. I'm Jeff Brown, Dean of the Gies College of Business. One of the greatest joys of being Dean is the opportunity to celebrate the accomplishments of this year's graduating class. It's also a great pleasure to welcome the families that are joining us today. I know you're rightfully proud of your graduates' achievements. Like them, you've sacrificed to reach this day. There's no question that earning a graduate degree while balancing a full-time job is a team effort. Know that their accomplishments were only made possible by your support and love. We begin today with our national anthem.
By thy rivers gently flowing, Illinois, Illinois, by thy prairies verdant growing, Illinois, Illinois, comes an echo on the breeze, rustling through the leafy trees, and its mellow tones are these: Illinois, Illinois, and its mellow tones are these: Illinois. Not without thy wondrous story, Illinois, Illinois, can be writ the nation's glory. Illinois, Illinois, on the record of the years, Abraham Lincoln's name appears, Grant and Logan and our tears. Illinois, Illinois, Grant and Logan and our tears. Illinois.
all of you in this graduating class, congratulations on your accomplishments. Today is an enormous milestone. We often say that the Illinois family is made up of people who rise to their very best when faced with a challenge. And during this very challenging year, I'm incredibly humbled to say that this graduating class has done exactly that. Your courses were delivered in alternative ways. At times, your research and your scholarship were put on hold, and some of you were separated from friends and colleagues and instructors by a significant distance. I want to be very clear. During a time that has been nearly impossible to predict, you have shown incredible strength. That is something to celebrate. So on behalf of our entire university community, congratulations. We can't wait to see what you'll accomplish next as alumni.
Hi, everyone. I'm Brooke Elliott, Executive Associate Dean and EY Professor here at the Gies College of Business. I'm so proud to welcome you to the Gies alumni family, and you should be very proud of all you have accomplished. This investment that you've made in yourself changes your trajectory and could change the trajectory of your family for generations. You have proven yourself to be resilient, determined, adaptable, and a smart decision maker, and willing to learn from others. All characteristics of great leaders, and that's exactly what we consider you to be. Whether you earned an MSM to advance your skills or prepare for a promotion, or an MSA so that you can become a CPA or start your own business, or an MBA to advance, pivot, or change your career altogether, you know what this degree and this accomplishment means, and I couldn't be more proud of you. I want to thank you for choosing Gies to continue your educational journey. I also want to thank you for all of the hard work you've put into completing your degree. I know this journey hasn't been easy, and the world probably looks a lot different now for many of you than it did when you started your degree. It's no small achievement triaging work, family, and a graduate education, and especially in the midst of a pandemic and a time of unrest. You had to make some tough choices to do this, and you made a great choice to come to Gies and learn from the best faculty and the most experienced set of peers anywhere. Your education is a journey, and this is just the start. We'll be here to help you to learn even more. Our entire team has been dedicated to ensuring your experience is the very best in the business. We have built our programs based on your needs, your career objectives, your lifestyle, and your learning styles. Know that as you move on to do great things, Gies will always be your home. Even though you may have never, ever physically been here, you will always be a very important part of our family. You also have been such incredible ambassadors for our programs and the Gies College of Business. Whether what you've experienced here is true online education, these programs were designed to be online, and you are a great testament to the quality of education that you have experienced here at Gies, and you are our very best promotion. So many of you have done everything we've asked and participated in so many ways to spread the great word about the outstanding education you have earned here at Gies. So thank you. Today is a day of celebration, a time of reflection on all you've accomplished, and an opportunity to look ahead at all the great things to come. So thank you for joining us today, and congratulations again. I'd now like to introduce our special guest speaker today, Rob Brown. Rob is the Chief Executive Officer at Lincoln International. He has been instrumental in establishing Lincoln as a globally recognized and respected investment banking advisory firm. He has been a key architect and keeper of Lincoln's highly regarded culture that prioritizes attracting, retaining, and engaging top talent at all levels. As a connected leader, Rob motivates and inspires Lincoln's professionals to make a true impact with clients, colleagues, and their communities. Rob has over 30 years of experience advising and leading private equity groups, privately owned businesses, and large companies on divestitures, acquisitions, and other strategic initiatives. Prior to being appointed CEO, he held Lincoln's U.S. business. He helped build Lincoln's industrials and consumer practices and led the firm's business services practice for more than a decade. Additionally, Rob has a deep understanding of how to best position companies for sale, drive competitive processes, and negotiate to successful closing. Prior to Lincoln, Rob worked at Price Waterhouse. His diverse experiences include management positions in PwC's investment banking subsidiary and the transaction services practice. As a recognized thought leader in the investment banking industry, Rob is a frequent guest speaker and author on economic, business and mergers and acquisitions. Rob sits on the board of UNICEF USA and the Dean's Business Council right here in the Gies College of Business. Rob earned a bachelor's degree in accounting from Gies College of Business in 1990 and an MBA from Columbia University Graduate School of Business in 1997. Please join me in welcoming Rob Brown.
I want to thank Dean Brown and the entire Gies administration for inviting me here today. I was first invited to do this over 2 years ago in February of 2020 for the graduation that year. And we all know what happened in early March 2020. As a result, I could not be more excited to be with you here today and be part of the first real graduation celebration in Illinois in 3 years. Now, the 2020 graduation had some significance for me. Grace Brown, the only of my 4 daughters to attend the University of Illinois, was graduating from Gies that year. Grace is a 4th-generation Gies grad, with me, her grandfather, and her great-grandfather all being alums of this incredible university and College of Business. And so I started to think about what I wanted to say today. And in doing so, I tried to put myself in your shoes, in the shoes of somebody graduating from one of the top business schools in the country and launching your career with all the requisite skills and accolades that a degree from Gies conveys. And it forced me to reflect. And what it forced me to reflect on were what were some of the things I wish I understood better about business and career success when I was walking across the podium in Champaign in 1990. And the first concept that came to mind was culture. Culture is a word we hear in so many different contexts today that I'm not sure we fully realize how incredibly important it is for success in organizations and business. Business, and you all know this, business is all about people. It's about people collectively working together for a common purpose or success. As such, if an organization does not have a culture that results in attracting, retaining, engaging top talent at all levels, it will find it extremely hard to compete with organizations that do. And there's no one great definition of culture. There's lots of great culture. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of derivatives. But common elements of high-performance cultures are ones that foster collaboration, open-mindedness, creativity, transparency, diversity, and respect. Great cultures also look to avoid things like micromanagement, politics, and echo chambers. I was in a conversation with an old friend who is a very, very successful investor. He's a private equity investor. He's literally bought and sold dozens of companies over a very long career. And what he said to me, he said, culture eats strategy for breakfast. And when I asked him what he meant, he said this. He said, if I have the choice to invest in a company with a cutting-edge strategy and a toxic culture or a culture of mediocrity versus one with a Me Too strategy and a highly impactful and dynamic culture, I will invest in the second one every single time. Now, I don't want any of the strategy professors that are listening to this to get nervous. Strategically is critically important. You want to have a good strategy. You need a good strategy. However, what I've learned is that a good strategy is nearly always easier to copy or replicate than a really good culture. And what that does is that makes culture a more sustainable competitive advantage. And I can tell you in my business, in investment banking, and in professional services as a whole, there could be no truer statement. Towers & Perrin, which is now part of Willis Towers Watson, was a leading human capital management consultant. And many years ago, they did a study on what drives career satisfaction for college graduates. And I know that it will shock all of you budding young capitalists here that are listening to this, that it was not compensation. It was not personal wealth that was the #1 factor. It was this. It was working with and for people you respect. And that gets to the heart of why culture matters. This also adds some credence to an old saying, that people join companies and quit bosses. Now, this poses 2 challenges. First, how can you assess culture of a company? And 2, how can you positively impact the culture of an organization? And these challenges aren't easy, particularly during recruiting, when most companies put their best foot forward and often try to hide the negative parts of their organization, which could be a suboptimal culture. It can also be difficult for you as recent grads to feel like you can really have an impact on an organization or their culture where you don't have authority and you don't have longevity, you don't have what you believe are the right relationships. There are, however, very valuable things you can do. The easiest thing to do is just ask a company about its culture. If culture is valued in an organization, I guarantee you it will be well defined, it will be measured, and it will be managed to. Other companies are going to have a culture. Every organization is going to have a culture. If you don't do these things, culture will evolve on its own, and what will result in are unhealthy subcultures and fiefdoms. If there is no culture statement, you might have half your answer right there as to if culture is valued in that organization. Now, with regards to measuring culture, one great proxy is engagement. It's why you see more and more companies and organizations doing firm-wide engagement surveys. If you have high levels of engagement across an organization, those companies are generally living up to their cultural promise. And the research is overwhelming on this. Companies with high levels of engagement always outperform those with lower levels of engagement. So don't be afraid to ask. Don't be afraid to ask if they measure engagement. Don't be afraid to ask if you can see the results. Next, and this is important, look to the leaders. Culture is a direct reflection of leadership. There are many examples of companies, in some cases very large companies with thousands or hundreds of thousands of employees who make a change in one person, the leader. And the culture of that business looks materially different in a short period of time, often within a year. And that can be both positively or negatively. So what can you do? Search for publications, speeches, social media posts from leaders of companies. If they're a public company, read the annual letter to investors from the CEO. I guarantee that you will start to understand what elements of cultures are valued or not valued, and do they resonate with you or not resonate with you. And if you come to the conclusion that you do not have shared values or a shared vision of a good culture with the leaders, seek employment elsewhere. Remember, working with and for people you respect is critical. You guys are also a generation of digital natives. You have access to data and information on companies that did not exist for many of us that went before you. Use these tools like Glassdoor. Go on that. You will find out what current and former employees really think about a company and its culture. Lastly, observe how people from that company interact with each other. Do they seem to know each other as people or just as coworkers? Do they treat each other with respect? If you are observant, and I know you all are, you will begin to pick up on the cultural clues of an organization. And this is a great segue into the next topic I wanted to touch on, social capital. I know that many of you, particularly the accounting majors and the finance majors, you've studied equity capital, you've studied debt capital, but in business, social capital can be far more valuable. And the concept behind it is simple. The more we know each other as people, really know each other as people, not just business associates, the more we achieve, the more we maximize the outputs of teams. Investing in real relationships with your colleagues and your clients and everyone you come into contact with, investing in all of this creates social capital. And if this is done with authenticity, and it has to be authentic, it is highly, highly valuable. Now, studies have been done taking very difficult, complicated, and socioeconomic problems and giving these problems to two very different groups of people. The first group were some of the most well-renowned and best experts in the various disciplines needed to address these problems. These people, however, were total strangers. The second group were people with some experience in the requisite fields. They've been working them a while, but they were not well known. They weren't well published. They may have been considered kind of nobodies in their field, but they were people that knew each other personally and had worked together for a long time. They knew each other well. The consistent outcomes is that the, quote, nobodies who knew each other well came up with better and more creative solutions to these problems. So what's the takeaway? The takeaway is this. When you understand someone's background, when you understand their story, when they make statements or have ideas, you get it. You know the perspective they're coming from. You know the basis for how they came to those conclusions. And what that leads to is less conflict and less judgment and more effective communication and trust. And trust is absolutely key. So I often like to say in business, oftentimes the small talk is the big talk. Making time to connect with people on a personal level and understanding what's going on in their lives leads to real connections, and these connections drive greater collaboration, greater success, and a greater common sense of purpose. Now, I've heard many people say that I'm too busy for small talk. They want to get right down to it. They want to get right down to the tasks and into the agenda. And people who think this way and act this way, they can be very, very efficient, but over time, they will not be as effective as they could be. In fact, we just went through a massive social experiment that reinforced the value of social capital. It was called COVID. The remote working environments that were driven by the pandemic resulted in materially less ability for the absolutely necessary and important small talk and mentorship. We all live this, right? Every Zoom meeting we got on had a purpose. People generally got on the Zoom, jumped right into whatever the purpose for that meeting was, and when it ended, they signed off. Again, very, very efficient. However, when you look at the great resignation that has happened since coming out of COVID, it is at least in part a result of people feeling less connected to their coworkers, their companies, and their colleagues. So if you're going into meetings with colleagues or clients, do this. Make time to find something in common to connect on before you jump right into the agenda. When you go to company social events, make it a priority to get to know people that you don't know. I guarantee you these behaviors will not only result in better relationships to draw on over the entire course of your career, but as importantly, it'll make your life far more rich and interesting. So this brings me to another topic I wanted to touch on, the last topic, impact. You've heard me use that word many times since I got up here. I was once asked by an analyst candidate coming out of college, what's the difference between a good analyst and a great analyst? I wasn't totally prepared for the question, and I had to think for a minute. And my knee-jerk reaction was this. If I ask a good analyst to do tasks A, B, and C, and I see if they can be done by the end of the week, that analyst is going to turn around, walk out of my office, come back at the end of the week having done A, B, and C, and they are going to be mostly correct. Now, in culture striving for excellence, the first pass is almost never 100% correct. A great analyst, on the other hand, will pause. And they'll pause and they'll ask some questions about what I'm really trying to achieve. And they'll come back at the end of the week having completed A and B, and then determine why we don't need to do C. But they'll have already done D, because they knew that was coming, and they'll go to me and say, hey Rob, you're going to need to do E and F, and here's a framework, here's some thoughts on those tasks. Great people, impactful people, they do not just do what they're instructed or asked to do. They strive to look at the bigger picture. They anticipate the needs of a client or a project. They challenge conventional thinking, and they start to manage up. And a key trait of these people, of the most impactful people, is that they always seek context. Don't be afraid to ask the fundamental questions to others or to yourself if you're working on something to determine the motivations behind what you are doing or what you're asked to do. Questions like, why am I doing this? Questions like, what is really trying to be achieved? Questions like, who is the ultimate audience for this? Are there better ways to do this? What are the necessary resources that I can use to help? The more time you take to understand the context of situations or problems, the more thoughtful and creative you will be at finding the optimal course of action or solution. Great leaders understand this. Great leaders do not manage by control, they manage by context. However, you should not be afraid to seek context, to seek what you need to know if you're not so lucky to be working for someone who understands this. In summary, always be intellectually curious. So let's recap for a moment. If you value culture, if you actively and authentically build social capital, and if you approach every single day with the goal of having an impact on your company, your colleagues, your families, and your communities, I promise that you will not only be successful in your career, but in everything in life that you are passionate about. I cannot thank you enough for allowing me to share these thoughts, and I wish you great fortune in what I am confident will be the next of many exciting chapters in your life.
I'd now like to introduce two great scholars and faculty in our online programs here at Gies, Professors Gerlando Lima and Elizabeth Luckman. Gerlando Lima is a teaching assistant professor of accountancy at Gies College of Business. His research includes behavioral accounting, financial accounting, and international accounting. Elizabeth Luckman is an assistant clinical professor of business administration and R.C. Evans Data Analytics Fellow at Gies Business. Her research interests include leadership, ethics, organizational culture, and management education. We're so glad they were able to make some time to join us today. Please welcome Gerlando and Elizabeth.
Okay, let me say the magic words. Expecto Patrono. Oh no, it didn't work. Abacadabra. Thunder cat. Oh no, Brooke and Dean Brown will kill me. Okay, I think I know what to say. Business on purpose. In Brazil, we say that there are two types of speech, the good ones and the long ones. I swear I'll try not to be long. Today is definitely a special day for everyone here. Congratulations on completing another great journey in your life. It's not easy to go through all these professors and courses: financial accounting, managerial accounting, marketing, and data analytics. After months of several logins, internet troubleshooting, team assignments, and listening to a lot of times that same music, waiting for Beyoncé or Bruno Mars to appear.
Welcome to this live session from Gies College of Business at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. Please make sure your microphones are muted and your video camera is turned on. And now, here are your instructors, Professors Gerlando Lima and Jennifer Johnson.
Okay, you can stop now. You can see now that it was all worth it. And I hope you had an amazing time learning a lot of wonderful content with expert faculty. I would say to forget the pandemic, the war, the inflation, and your partner saying that you can watch the live session another time. But the best thing is that you went through all these problems and won. Yes, we live in a disruptive world, but now you are prepared to fight against it. Let me tell you something. You have only overcome one stage of your life. For sure, many challenges will come. So don't forget the learning you had during this period at our college, and remember to stay competitive. I want to share some tips with you. First, be an expert in at least two things, whether functions or activities. Change your portfolio, learn new skills, be different. I had to learn various techniques and disciplines, speak more than one language to be here today. Second, develop the greatest skills you possess. See what you are really good at and hone those skills. I have learned that I'm very good at international accounting standards, and that makes a big difference when I talk about international accounting with friends or in companies. If something is not adding to you, discard it and look for another one, because it's never too late to be happy. If something makes you unhappy, try to change it. Remember to never forget who you are, whether for the sake of other people or to fit into the status quo. Be your own essence and shine like never before. I will always be proud to have been part of each of your lives, because I trust that there is love and hope in these courageous hearts that are being formed here today. After all, love is the only feeling capable of leading us to our goals with wisdom in a unique way to make your eyes bright just like you are now. An important fact and its value is immense. Your values go far beyond test scores, GPA, or any number. It goes far beyond what any teacher can calculate. Your value is immeasurable. That's why I say, believe in yourself, believe in your potential, and walk your path in your own way, always with ethic and dignity, because it will surely be transformative. Don't let anyone belittle you. Exceed your expectations always. All great managers, as well as in all other professions, have come this far by believing in their words and in their best, and I hope you do too. Only then will you make a difference and achieve the long-awaited goal for which you are working so hard with all your heart. This is the most important of all. Another point, tour is human. Many say that the time to make mistakes is when we have a teacher by our side. But life is full of challenges and complex decisions, and tour is absolutely human. So don't beat yourself up for it. It happens to everyone. Don't give up on the first failure. Persist and look for different ways to make your future. You have come this far, and it's just the beginning of a life filled with challenges and achievements. The wisest things to do is not to despair in the face of a negative situation. The most important thing is to breathe, think, and then act. This is a tip that you can start practicing right away. Don't forget to live well, with joys and smiles. Recognize that all people can make mistakes and overcome mistakes. Once again, congratulations on celebrating your dream today. Congratulations to the people who have always been by your side, your family. They also deserve to receive that title. A big hug. Thanks a lot. Hasta luego. Bye-bye. Tchau, tchau. Congratulaciones. Parabéns para você. And now, let's party.
Greetings to all of the graduates gathered here today, with family, friends, and those cheering you along the way. Today's your graduation day, a day to celebrate. It's also a perfect time to stop a moment and appreciate how much that you have learned and how much that you have grown now that you have reached this important milestone. Think back to that day when you started your I degree. What did you expect? What were you hoping to see? Did you take this journey to learn and to grow, to get a new job, a new seed to sow? Whatever the reason this path was for you, now it's time to reflect so you can break through to the next chapter of life, whatever it may be. Time to put into practice what you got from your degree. Just consider what you've learned, what all you've been through. Let's think about your classes and the profs who taught you. Your interest in stats may have been 0 to none until Prof. Fatina showed you that stats can be fun. And managerial accounting may have made you feel wary, but how can you argue with the knowledge of Prof. Gary? For some, finance is hard and can leave a scar, but you learned along Prof. Hator's smooth guitar. Econ's a topic that can be difficult now and then, so you listen to Prof. Larry because he's got the pen. Being successful's a duty with which you are now laden. That's what you heard loud and clear from Prof. Hayden. And you learned how to navigate your leadership woes during the weekly Prof. Denise and Prof. Elizabeth show. I am quite aware I've only listed a few of the faculty who hope to have inspired you to go out into the world and solve problems with meaning, to find what could be better and start intervening, to provide value to the world with strength without cease, to show them all the purpose of your time spent at Gies. There's a secret about purpose that you may want to know. The purpose of life, the whole point, is to grow. There are many ways to do this, through family and friends, traveling, meeting people, changing your lens, taking on earning a graduate degree while working and managing life and family. You've been living your purpose while your degree you've pursued, as you challenged yourself to grow to a new version of you. So here is my advice as you embark on your next chapter. Show the world that you've learned to be an adapter. The world is weird and messy and capricious, and it's no longer enough only to be ambitious. We also need understanding of the human condition, making trusting relationships a part of our mission. As leaders and employees, this should be our foundation to contribute value to the world through our organization. Experiment relentlessly and reflect on every action. Acknowledge successes and failures to reach satisfaction with your journey as a leader, which will never be done. And make sure you stop along the way to engage in some fun. And now you're ready to do this in a whole new way, now that you've reached this point, your graduation day. Stay connected to your classmates and your professors too. We have all found ourselves inspired by you. Congratulations on your achievement and on earning your degree. I'm wishing you the best now that you're graduating from Gies.
Thanks to both of our outstanding faculty, Elizabeth and Gerlando. Next, I would like to introduce our two student speakers who have demonstrated the excellence in leadership that embody a Gies alum, Rory Kamanian and Veronica Pintillier.
Thank you, Dr. Elliott. Good afternoon, fellow graduates, faculty, family, and alumni. I'd like to thank you for this opportunity to speak and be the graduate student speaker for the 2022 class. I'd like to thank all of our friends, group project colleagues, coworkers, and of course our families for all of their support and helping us get to this day. I also represent the select students that may not have had stellar academic careers during their undergraduate studies, but have worked incredibly hard to be here today. Although I've hit my stride with my career thus far and found application for my talents, I wouldn't have any business being up here if I were purely judged by my undergraduate credentials. I'm thankful for not only executive MBA programs, but for the IMBA program that is truly revolutionary in not only its approach, but also its execution. I'm thankful because I dreamt about a moment like this for well over half of my life. Whenever I speak about the MBA program and the Gies College of Business, I describe it as a community of lifelong learners who strive for deeper knowledge in business and have skin in the game with every class and every group project to support others to succeed. Based on the fact that our community is comprised of learners from across the globe, we continually prove to the world that together we can achieve great things when we're called upon to do so. I wish our leaders from every country could witness what we do each and every term and use it as a model for cooperation, collaboration, understanding, and ultimately action. Although I didn't attend class here each and every day, I certainly made the use of the time to take in the sites and ingest the messaging throughout the university. The two messages that I live with as being a student at the University of Illinois Urbana-Champaign and my job at AT&T are, to thy happy children of the future, those of the past send greetings. And also the words of how Dr. Hayden Noel ends each and every class. Now go out into the world and be successful. What those two phrases mean to me are that the people in this room and the many students who have come before us, they look upon us and expect us to go on and do great things. In my view, achieving a master's degree from this university and this college, whether it's online or as a graduate student on campus, is not an invitation to go out and toe the company line or be mediocre. Our degrees are not merely a means to get pay raises or just to get a promotion. I believe it's meant to fuel our confidence for us to defy convention, to develop and execute disruptive strategies, to start businesses, and to help those around us achieve greater things, and also to lend a hand to those who may have fallen on hard times in their lives or in their careers. As we celebrate our graduation from the Gies College of Business today, I view it as us summiting a mountain. But unlike actually summiting a mountain where there's no more left to climb, we all have the opportunity to find that next mountain to summit. So let's all keep climbing. Thank you.
Hello, I'm Veronica, and I'm pleased to be able to share some of my thoughts about my journey as I pursued this MBA degree. The past 2.5 years of my life have taught me that we must never give up on what we have started, and we must view each challenge as a chance to progress. Opportunities like this come disguised as challenges and allow us to learn something about both ourselves and others. They also help to improve our society by allowing us to put what we have learned into practical application. I initially committed to pursuing this MBA not as a necessity or in order to further my career, but as a step to grow in my own life. I believe it was a chance to test my strength and surpass previous boundaries. Today, I remain convinced that there are no limits to learning if one is willing to work and commit to improving the world little by little. I have not necessarily chosen the context or the circumstances of this wonderful journey, but between a pandemic, a removal from the States to Africa, a typhoid fever, 2 surgeries, a cancer, the beginning of a war and an economic crisis, I have learned that training your mind to focus on important and positive things can improve the quality of your work and can make you stronger. It can even change your life. A significant revelation that appeared to me during this journey was realizing that we are all connected in a way or another. It is also up to all of us to make the world a better place. I could not be more grateful to all my friends, my fellow graduates, my family and my doctors that brought me to this discovery. I will always cherish the exchanges I had with my colleagues, both from the university and from my current job, at different hours of the days or nights, and the advice I have received from my dear friends and family. I can only encourage everybody who wants to start this experience not to give up, to trust, to be sufficiently humble and ask for help on getting lost, and to be patient. I remember that after my first semester, I already wanted to quit the program. With an experience rather in diplomacy, psychology, and philosophy, I had considered that numbers, graphs, and Excel sheets would not be for me. Therefore, I consulted my advisor who told me, if someone who studied music can do it, so can you. This was enough for me to decide embracing the challenge until the end and never regret afterwards. If I were to do the inventory of what I have acquired the last 2.5 years, the list would be too long. For example, I have surprised myself by understanding statistics and becoming curious about probability. The Nash equilibrium or prisoner's dilemma amazed me. I will take with me the 4 Ps, the SWOT, the pestle analysis, the 5 forces, as well as different types of decision used for managerial accounting information, such as annual reports. I am also very grateful I could better understand how to develop a marketing plan proposal and create a persuasive advertising piece. Also choosing appropriate web analytics tools and techniques. I will always remember to use my creativity in identifying new potential market opportunities, or in general, when I need to deal with people and challenging situations. One of the biggest takeaways of this MBA is the role of the leadership in negotiation, conflict management, or any decision-making or organizational change. Our planet is now suffering. War, climate change, economic struggles, atomic threats are just some of the challenges we are now facing as humanity. I hope we can all be leaders and take social responsibility in order to attenuate the damages we have caused to this world and to leave a better place for our children and future generations. Thank you.
Graduates, you're embarking on a new phase of your career in a time unlike anything we've ever seen. Business as usual has changed forever. Here at Gies, we believe that disruption can be a powerful engine for change and progress. There are lots of avenues for business to do immense good in this world. Business is a noble profession, and ultimately at its core, business helps others. And when you frame business through the perspective of the impact it brings to society, it helps give you a guiding purpose. And business is increasingly global. As you've experienced firsthand, online education, when done right, can provide a global experience unmatched by any residential program. It creates greater opportunity for ambitious and talented learners, no matter their location. You've seen in your classes, in your breakout groups, and in your group projects what can happen when those doors to opportunity are open to learners from around the world. You're living proof that when the power of technology is creatively harnessed, it can help deliver impactful and engaging online learning. During your time in Gies business, you've grown both personally and professionally. You've been challenged in your academic work by some of the finest business professors in the country. And you've been inspired and motivated by your classmates, whose diverse professional and cultural experiences and points of view have opened your minds and hearts to new ways of thinking and acting in the world. I ask of you today, will you continue to rise to the challenges of leadership, where more than the functional aspects of management are expected, if not demanded? Will you assume your obligation to serve humanity through your work, to lend a hand to those who need it? Will you find the imagination to let your work impact social and economic justice and create new pathways for a world in need of compassion and opportunity? This is what it means when we say business on purpose. It's the intentional pursuit of ethical practice, to diversity and inclusion, to bringing together a world in need of unity and shared purpose. Graduates, when you succeed in this way, we all succeed. You are Gies. As alumni, I ask for you to find ways to stay involved with us. I encourage you to take the opportunity to speak to a class or to take a phone call from a student who's interested in your field. Convince that colleague of yours who's looking into grad schools that Illinois is the best place to get your graduate business degree. And please know that your Gies education doesn't have to end here. We want you to continue learning, and we'll always be here to make sure that you have the latest skills to be a successful business leader for many years to come. No matter where your path takes you, we hope you will always find your way back to Gies. On behalf of all of us at Gies College of Business, congratulations on your achievements in earning your degree. We celebrate your success with you. At this time, I ask the graduates to please turn on your cameras if you've not already done so, and please move your tassel from the right side to the left, signifying the conference of your degree. Congratulations.
Congratulations. I'm so proud to be able to call you a fellow Gies Business alum. Your degree from this world-class university can take you to places you never thought possible. Without the University of Illinois, my family and I never would have been in a position to positively impact lives. Our university has given each of us the ability to influence the world in such a positive way. Your impact in life won't be measured by how much money you make. Your impact will be measured by how you change the world and those you touch along the way. At Gies, you've become a purposeful leader, a leader with the tools, experiences, and alumni network to pursue your passion to make the world a better place. And the power of the Gies Business Alumni Network is real, and it's truly a network built on action. Wherever you go in the world today, chances are there's a Gies alum nearby. An alum willing to listen, offer advice, give you a leg up, or just strike up a friendship. And you can do the same for generations of future Gies Business graduates who follow your lead. Enjoy every moment of your journey and make what you do meaningful to you. It's a great day to be an Illini. Welcome to the Gies alumni family. Congratulations, graduates.
As you move forward in your career and in life, please remember you always have a home at Gies College of Business. You always have a team here to help you navigate challenges that come your way. So please stay in contact with us and let us know how you're doing. Also know that we'll be here to support your lifelong learning journey. As you continue throughout your career, you can always come back to Gies for the skills you need to succeed. I love that I've had the opportunity to engage with so many of you in my role at Gies. Seeing the impact we're able to have on your life, even from thousands of miles away in many cases, has been more rewarding than what I could have ever imagined. Here's to you for being incredible people, talented students, great ambassadors, purposeful business leaders, and now University of Illinois and Gies College of Business graduates. From our family to yours, congratulations.
Congratulations, everybody. This is truly a day to celebrate. Now, let's all sing along with Gies Online students and faculty in Hail to the Orange. A 1 and a 2 and a 3.
Hail to the orange, hail to the blue. Hail, alma mater, ever so true. We love no other, so let our motto be.
Congratulations, everybody.
Now go out in the world and be successful.
Thank you, and congratulations to the class of 2022. We will be opening up several breakout rooms if you would like to meet with your fellow students and faculty. You can jump into any breakout room you like by clicking the breakout room button. While inside the breakout rooms, you will be able to speak freely. We will leave these breakout rooms open until 10:20 a.m. Central Time. Thank you, and once again, congratulations to the class of 2022.